Hey, what's going on? Tom Warburton here, songwriter and producer based in Geelong, Australia. I've just put out a new song called Shining In Armour live at the tavern, and today I'm going to run you through it by doing a bit of a production and songwriting breakdown. This software that you're looking at, it might not be that familiar to you, but this is called Reason. And I like Reason because it's very visual and it looks like you're working on a SSL console. All right, so you're looking at the mix window. So you can see these pink tracks here to the blue. That's my drums. Now we've got some bass, some hits, some like impact hits and effects. A recorded harpsichord. The harpsichord lead channels. Then we've got all the instruments on an instrument bus. And now we're getting into vocals. Verse channel, verse harmonies, pre-chorus, chorus, vocals, harmonies, and all this section here at the end. This is what I would call Foley or ambience, and that is the sound of the little skit that you hear at the start and end. So there's a lot to go through, and I will go through each channel and show you what's there and how I put it together. So this is the sequence of view. So you can kind of see how everything's laid out. This, for me, this is a pretty big session. It's not elegant. It's not, I guess it's not streamlined. It's very messy. There's sort of cables and things going everywhere, and it would be very hard for someone else to come and have a look at this and know what's going on. So the beauty of this program is you have these rack devices or your VST plugins, but you have to patch them in manually. So if I flip the rack over, you can see all the cables. And when you want to do side chaining to different instruments and stuff, that's when it becomes a bit of a nightmare. Parallel channels and buses and things like that can get quite confusing, but that's what I mean when I say this session isn't that elegant. There's things just going everywhere. It's very messy. But anyway, the song itself was heavily inspired by Hit Me Baby One More Time and Oops, I Did It Again. I've practically tried to remake those, but with medieval instrumentation. So right here I've got the the reference track, Hit Me Baby One More Time. No, Oops, I Did It Again. And I pretty much tried to follow a similar structure. So, you got the intro, a verse, a pre-chorus, the chorus, little section afterwards, second verse, second pre-chorus. This one's different. Second chorus. This is labeled solo, but it's really a breakdown, and this is the solo. And then the outro. So the runtime is 3 minutes 30 seconds, so perfect for a pop song. Should we have a listen? Just for all those who may be joining us who actually haven't heard the song. Why not? All right.
Once upon a time.
Boys, look over at the bar. We've got wenches leering. Brothers, we are not mid. Let us prove it with a song. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Sometimes I stumble and sometimes I fall, but no matter what happens, you have to always get back on the horse and give it your best. Return to the fray. They call me St. George, cause I'm looking for a dragon to slay. So call me if there's any danger, I'll be there to save you. You can always count on me. Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you, baby. I'm the prince that's up from the fairy tales. I'm here to save you, I'll steal you away. Take on the pressure, hold down the realm. I still get nervous, but you're never ever able to tell. The brave is the man who battles his mind, and he keeps on fighting even though that he's terrified. Calling all damsels locked in a keep. I'll be the one who sweeps you off your feet. Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you, baby. I'm the prince that's up from the fairy tales. I'm here to save you, I'll steal you away. I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you, baby. I'm the prince, the type from the fairy tales. Right into danger to steal you away. Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you, baby. I'm the prince, the type from the fairy tales. I'm here to save you, I'll steal you away. Okay, that's the song. So if you haven't heard it before, that's what we're breaking down today. So I think I should probably start with the Foley intro. So when I started writing this song, I wanted a vocal intro. I wanted sort of a chanting, medieval type, church sounding intro. And I wrote that on a little choir plug-in that Reason comes with. And then it sounded pretty good. And so I decided to record all those voices myself. So this is the first thing you hear. It's all these so as you start adding in the different layers, it gets bigger and bigger. So I'll put them all in. And I think there's a sub layer too that's sort of pitched down using sub. Yeah, so that's got some, I'm just taking that down a full octave. So I'm singing the bass notes and then it's making it really low. Sounds cool, hey? So all together. This is what I started with, just this vocal, right? Bang, song drops. Then I was kind of thinking, well, all right, that sounds good, but what if we had some context for that group chant? Maybe we could like do some kind of scene, an audio scene where something happens and then people launch into song. So I thought about it for a while and then I thought, oh, imagine there's like a heap of lads at a bar having a sesh or a medieval tavern and for whatever reason they break into song. And so what I come up with was the idea that you're at the bar, you're drinking the table with your boys and there's some girls looking at you, some maidens, and you want to impress them. And so you launch into song and then you kind of sing this song and it's about being brave and all this bravado type stuff. And I just thought, well, yeah, that kind of fits really nicely actually. So then I set about trying to make an audio recreation of a medieval tavern. So I'll take you through how I did it. This is, I'll just play it so you can hear what's going on. Because I've got everything routed to a bus called the Tavern.
Once upon a time.
Boys, look over at the bar. We've got wenches leering. Brothers, we are not mid. Let us prove it with a song. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's the tavern intro. I just found this sound effect on YouTube and just ripped it straight off. Just says once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Bang. Sets the scene straight away. There's nothing more engaging for a story than when someone says once upon a time, because you all know now there's a story coming. This is, what's this? So again, if you just go to YouTube and search tavern ambience or medieval tavern sounds, people have recreated those sounds and they upload hour-long videos that you can play in the background while you're working or doing whatever. So this is just a little rip, like a 20-second audio rip of one of those, and I'm just playing it at a low volume so you can get that ambient sound. Right, then there's me. Boys, look over at the bar. We've got wenches leering. Brothers, we are not mid. Let us prove it with a song. If you're not sure what I said there, it's We've got wenches leering. Brothers, we are not mid. Let's prove it with a song. And yeah, that's a little bit confusing to you. You might not understand what I said there, but yeah, we are not mid. So that's yeah, that's me. Then again, I think I just ripped these sound effects off YouTube, like a giggle and a little hey. Brothers, we are whistle. Some chair scraping sound effects like people are standing up, getting ready to sing. Song. 1, 2, 3. Right, and then I recorded a few channels that are meant to sound like people looking at this scene and being like, oh, what? These people aren't about to sing, are they? Ah, surely not, right? So that's what these are. 1, 2, 3. But yeah, that's just me saying all that. I think that's really it. Then there's some finger snaps and some clapping, and that comes from the Robotic Bean hand clap studio. So I just bounced them to audio, and then I've added those in. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I just kind of picture people who would be watching this scene, they're kind of like gradually joining in. So as it goes on, there's more claps. So you start with just a snap. Yes. Yes. Someone joins in. Yeah. 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 Now more people joining. All right. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. This little tavern recreation. And this idea is heavily inspired by the great Jacob Collier, who often does this in his own songs. So I thought I'd give it a go. And I think it turned out pretty good. So I don't think there's anything like processing wise that's really interesting or crazy. There's that the gang vocal bus, it's just got a LA2A type compressor on there. I showed you the sub, that's got that that auto-tune device that's taking it down an octave. EQ on the gang bus, yeah, just a bit of top end. As I'm going through the channels, you might get confused by what I'm looking at, because there's two ways to kind of look at EQ in Reason. So on each of the channels, just like an SSL, you can add EQ and compression. So often I'll add EQ on the channel and then do it as an insert later as well. But I'll try to show you both. And then these sends, these buttons here, these are how you send to your effects. So pretty much most of the tavern stuff, it's being sent to a room reverb. Yeah, small drum room. Just to give it room ambience, to make it sound real. Is there any process? Oh yeah, okay, so what am I doing here? Because I wanted this to really come through on small speakers, I'm boosting a lot of mid-range. So yeah, I didn't want any of the voices or the skit to be lost. Like, because if you have the track as the loudest part, then when you play the skit at the start and end, I didn't want that to be quiet. Well, I wanted it to be quieter. I don't want it to be super loud, but I also didn't want it to lose any definition. So in order for you to be able to hear that, I'm just boosting a heap of mid-range energy from 500 to 2.5k, it looks like.
Once upon a time.
Using this. Boys, look over at the bar. Waves, vitamin. We've got wenches leering. Brother. So that just helps it cut through on small phone speakers, right? So you can hear that dialogue. Then I've just got a limiter, pinning that down. Cool. So that also plays at the end. Wow. There's also a section in the second verse. It's just claps. Take on the pressure, holds down the realm. I still get nervous, but you never. So yeah, where there's not much instrumentation there, just adding those claps back in to just make it seem like, yeah, he's still in the bar, he's still in the tavern. And then at the end, it's gone from, the scene at the start to where you've kind of won over the crowd and everyone's kind of clapping along and it's super rowdy. So, 'cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you, baby. I'm the prince, the type from the fairy tales. I'm here to save you, I'll steal you away. So it's pretty much all the same sound effects. There's just more claps. What I did do was get another channel of bar ambience. So that's a bit louder this time. And that's just again, just off YouTube. You can search bar ambience and get that. And then I've got this channel here called Carlton, and that is this sound. So that's an Australian rules football team. After they've won a game, it's tradition that they go down to their club rooms and they sing the theme song for the club. And these days, that's what happens when they go down there. Everyone's yelling. And so, yeah, this is from a recent win the boys had. I just ripped it off. I think I ripped this off Instagram, the audio. And so, yeah, that's that sound right before they're about to sing the club song. All got their arms around each other and they're all going, woo, woo. So, yeah, that just makes it sound so rowdy. And then ambience again. Then you hear that voice that says,
I can't say no to that.
That is from Kingdom Come, Deliverance. My girlfriend is a big gamer. She loves playing games like that. And I just don't have the time for games, honestly. But I really like that game. I think it's really cool. And yeah, she played it a lot. And I think that was from a clip off YouTube where it shows you the character Henry having all these interactions with all these women. And I'm pretty sure I just used like a AI service to separate the music from the dialogue, and then I've just put the dialogue in there. So that's also at the start, I think. that's this.
Hey.
The giggle and the hey. And then same thing. Right before the first chorus, that oh my, that's from the same ripped YouTube clip.
Oh my.
So yeah, hoping to not catch a lawsuit from that game developer, but we'll see. So yeah, that's all the tavern ambience. That's all the Foley. There's not much there really, but it's quite effective what is there. So I think that works really well. So now, let's go back and have a look at some other stuff. I think the next thing I should focus on are the chords. So we'll just have a look at the chords. I've got a piano here. And I'm just going to move everything up so I can explain it better. All right. I write all my songs in C minor, E flat major, and that's how I understand music theory. I can only do it from that key. So I would have written the song in that key, and then it was probably too high for me to sing, so I just moved it down to what would be what? I don't even know. Anyway, so yeah, this is how I'll explain it. So the first chord, A flat major. Then, just down a semitone, G7. Now, G7 wants to resolve to C. But because we're in the key of C minor, it doesn't go to C, it just goes to C minor. Then, the next chord, A flat major, that is also a fifth away from the start chord. See that interval down to there? That's a 5-1 relationship. So you've kind of got this chord and then a dominant chord that resolves to here. Then this chord resolves back around to the 1. So it's like a perfect kind of loop. In these piano chords you can't hear, but I kind of imply that this is a 7th chord as well, like a dominant 7. That's just a major sound right now, but throughout the song I have this note in there. See how that resolves? So that's 90% of the song is just that loop. Except for the second pre-chorus. And I'll just try and find some MIDI so I can show you exactly what's going on. Here we go. This might work good. Whoa. Bear with me. All right. Again. Let me move this. So, let's play this. So powerful. So F minor, B flat major, and you can also make this B flat major 7 if you like. That sounds good too, but this just sounds like it's a straight B major. So then this chord here, this would be out of the key of C minor, E flat major. It's a C sharp major. So this is a borrowed chord, and it really lifts. And then that's the E flat major chord again, and that's the one that resolves back to the 1. So that's a really great progression I use all the time when I want to have a pre-chorus or have a little break or I want to get somewhere. You can also make this chord minor, and that sounds really good too. So that would be like, oh, how would I do that? Yeah, this note here. I'll try that. And yeah, in full context. So cool. So these are the little songwriting things I geek out on. But that is the chord progression of the song. So yeah, fairly simple. Now, playing those harmony parts, let's go and have a look. This is our instrument bus. There's 2 main harmonic instruments. One is this organ sound. It's like it's called lakeside pipe. I bounce this to audio, but this is what that sounds like. Sometimes, you know those wind-up organs? They're from, like hundreds of years ago. That's what that sound is. So it's like a wind-up pipe organ playing that. And the MO for this song was to try and make it sound like they were all old medieval instruments. So obviously like a wound up pipe organ probably wasn't invented in the 1400s, but you might have had some kind of primitive organ. Either way, an organ makes you think of churches, and churches are old, and yeah, that was my thinking behind it. So we got this pipe organ. What am I doing with this? Oh, right. Okay, so sometimes you can kind of hear that swelling in there. It plays the role of a pad, but it's an organ. So in the chorus, it's the same thing. What I am doing though is automating it quite heavily. So I'm automating the volume here for different sections. So yeah, let's see here. These sections here where there's these green bars, what I'm doing is automating it up. Then I've got an EQ unit and I'm just taking out. I'm using this EQ as a sidechain compressor when the vocals are playing. So it's just taking out a bit of 1K so it's not fighting with the vocal. And then I'm using, this is a vocoder unit, and I'm also using this as an equalizer because it's got these 4 bands here. It's just very simple to use. I'm automating those bands, so I'm either adding in like low mid at different spots or taking it away. I'm not sure. Right, so when it's playing a supporting role in the intro here, I've got the high end here, and then when it gets to the chorus, I'm like boosting some high end, like making the top of it shine a little bit. And then I've got another EQ that's taking out, there's a really harsh frequency there. And then, yeah, dipping out a little bit more where the vocals are. And then, see, this is where it gets confusing in this program Reason. I've got a parallel channel. So that means if I hit tab and I show you the back, we've got these cables running to another channel here where it just makes another copy of the sound. And I've got the Waves S1 imager, right? So I've got that sound being widened, but I'm only dropping that during the chorus. So we've got this mute button here. That's automated for the choruses, right? So you can see that's on, and then when the chorus hits, Dave, you can always count on me.
Oh, my.
'Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. So anytime the chorus hits, I'm just trying to do all these little 1% moves to make it sound bigger, like it's really hitting. I don't want the mix to be static. I want things to like hit. So that's one way. Well, that's one little 1% move. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we've got 2 EQ stages, so I've probably done some more EQ here. Yeah, see, that's huge. Like I'm filtering out a heap of the low end and then a heap of the top end. Dave, you can know. 'Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you, baby. And yeah, I'm automating the filter cutoff at the top. I've also got some automation. It's sending to a rotor plugin during the chorus, like like one of those old Leslie cabinets. So when the chorus is dropping, it's just giving a bit more shimmer. Cool. So that's playing a huge harmonic role. That's playing our chords. All right, so the next thing to note is probably the piano. That's just there as like a supporting role. You don't even notice it. Except the second verse, it's sort of the feature instrument there. So I've got some automation on the volume fader and I'm automating that up during the second verse so you can hear it here. Take on the pressure, hold close down the realm. I still get nervous, but you're never ever able to tell. The brave is the man. Yeah, and that is a MIDI instrument, Radical piano. Nice grand. Yeah, it's filtered. Pianos can very quickly dominate your mix because they're so harmonically dense. So I'm filtering a lot of low out of that and a lot of high. There's some echo on that. There's some delay on that. And then, yeah, an EQ curve, just taking out more low mid. We're boosting, a lot of upper mid as well. I guess it needed it. So, probably the second most important harmonic element is this rhythm harpsichord. Now, if you go and listen to the songs I mentioned at the start, Hit Me Baby One More Time and Oops, I Did It Again, and any of that style of pop song from the late 90s, 2000s, you will always hear an eighth note organ just tapping the chords along. Da, 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 da. Right? Like this. Oh, not like that. So the clever thing is I've done that, but with a harpsichord. Shining in armour, I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you, baby. Alright. So this instrument was quite challenging to mix and blend in with the song because, like the piano, the harpsichord is even more harmonically rich than piano. It's like piano 2.0. It's so it's got so much like upper mid harmonics. So that is also like right down the middle and playing the exact register that the vocals are sitting at. So it's like, how do you mix those together? So let's uncover it together and see what I've done. Taking out low mid, taking out some upper mid 2.5. And the vocal would be going right down the middle, and I've just panned this off to the side so it's not in the road, but it still kind of sounds like it's centered. Shining in armor, I'll climb up the castle walls to... It's there if you listen. It's also kind of like subconsciously there, but it's not up front. Again, this is that same Radical piano plugin, but it's on the zither. So I guess this is a piano. I thought it was a harpsichord. And then, yeah, we've got... Shining in armor, I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you. Got some sidechain compression. The vocals are bringing that level down at that 1K, 1K region. So every time the vocal hits, it's just taking that frequency out. And that helps the vocal cut through and that get out of the way. So yeah, that is a very important part of this track. One of the other big sounds that you hear in the chorus, you might not really, it's not obvious, but it's another one of those techniques, like I mentioned with the eighth note zither, on those Britney Spears songs I mentioned, there's some kind of bell that's playing the melody and it's just behind the vocal, but it adds a lot of sparkle and shine when the chorus hits. So I've got a glockenspiel panned in the opposite direction to this sound. So both of them together. I guess that just helps, like I said, give a bit of shine to the performance. So that's why that's there. Now, what else have we got in this section? We've got some. We've got this harp glisten up sound. That's really important. Works really well in this second pre-chorus section. That sounds so dreamy and fairy tale. Reason comes with a huge orchestral sound bank somewhere. Loop supply, drum supply, factory sounds, orchestra sounds, and that I'm sure probably just comes from here somewhere. So I didn't play that in or anything. That's just a sample. So yeah, that starts the song too.
Once upon a time.
And it wraps it up. Perfect way to start and end the song. And yeah, instead of using like a white noise transition, you've got something that's actually harmonic that does the same function. So that's really cool. Humana Choir. This is the MIDI device I was talking about that I wrote the intro vocal on. So this is it's a MIDI device that makes choirs. So in the song that is in the first pre-chorus. Alright, so in context. Again, it's functioning as a pad, but like where in a modern song a pad would be a synth, this is like a choir. So I'm using it as a pad, but it's like a organic instrument. Again, meant to sound medieval. So yeah, this is a pop song that was produced using medieval sounds. Well, that's what I'm going for. So we've got this breakdown section that comes a bit later. That's where you hear it again. On the night, shine. It's a bit of automation. So I'm automating the filters in different sections. The EQ, there's nothing. Bit of mid-range. Again, some more EQ here, just fine-tuning it. You might look at all my EQ decisions and just think like, you could have just done this with one unit, but what I probably did was had one, and then as I was mixing it, I decided I needed another one, or, I'm trying to offset some other decision I made. So yeah, that's that sound. Cool. What's this? Rhythm harpsy. So yeah, this is playing during the second verse. It's this. It's like a call and response thing with the piano. No, here. Da-da-da. Cool. In that section specifically, I think there's something else there. Oh, no, there's not. So, this also... Oh, yeah, plays these chords in that second pre-chorus. And chords in the second chorus. So this harpsichord sound, this is like the sampling device of Reason, NNXT, and it's on this harpsichord patch. Then I've got some distortion on it. You can really hear that. It's crunching that up. A little bit. There's some delay on it, and then there's some reverb, and then I've got a limiter on it. What's that doing? It's catching the peaks. Cool. So yeah, that's that harpsichord. It's not the harpsichord that plays the lead. This is a supporting one. Then in that verse section, there's this little, what's this? I guess that's really like one of the only synth sounding sounds in the song. It's just, I thought it sounded cool with the harpsichord played together. You don't even notice it. But it is there. I'll quickly try and get through the rest of these. Modal voice. Always get back on. Yeah, again, that's like a call and response thing. In the first verse, there's this sound. Always get back on. And again, that comes from the Sheeran, Max Martin stuff, the Britney Spears stuff. If you listen to the verse of Hit Me Baby One More Time, everyone knows the melody that she's singing, but if you listen carefully, there's all these little counter melodies of different instruments playing different things, and that's what I've tried to do here. Always get back on the horse and give it your best. Return to the friend. All right, brass hit. What's that? First pre-chorus, we got this sound. It's a brass swell. It's barely audible, but it is there. Again, that's another sample from the orchestra samples native to the program. Panned off to the left. Then we've got this thing called wood swells. So that pre-chorus, the chords I showed you earlier, those chords are triggering these sounds here. And this is from, it's like a Chambertron. I think this is it's modeled on some kind of vintage Mellotron type device. Beautiful. Yeah, so it's swelled in woodwind instruments. And that sounds really perfect for that section. Going on damn zones, locked in a game. I'll be the one who sweeps you off your feet. 'Cause I'm that night. Nice. Probably should have bounced that to audio. There's no need to have that as MIDI, but still there. I'm one of those people that gets worried that they'll want to change stuff later with the MIDI, so I tend to keep everything as a MIDI instrument rather than bounce it to audio and commit. Although I have done a fair bit of audio stuff here. Alright, first verse. So there's this sound. This is the sound of the first verse. It's these like swells. So the first verse is basically just bass and this sound. Sometimes I stumble and sometimes I fall. Best return to the fray. They call. Like I just said a few moments ago, you could just play the chords of the song, like hold them down. But if you listen to those reference tracks, there's supporting harmonic instruments, but they're often playing their own thing. It's like counter melodies and different ideas. And so that's what I've gone for rather than just going for the chords. Sometimes I stumble and sometimes I fall. Knocking off some low end. I've got a phaser, giving that some stereo width. And that is only, oh yeah, it's in the breakdown section. Under night, shining in armor, I'll climb up. Diodes. So that's in this breakdown section. So that's those stabby sounds. I'm not sure what that is. It's just some kind of pluck. But that's there to help give some rhythm when the drums get filtered out. There's no drums for a second, so that's there to just kind of keep a pulse. Under night, shining in armor, I'll climb up the castle. Lakeside pipe, again, we've got that organ. It's that same organ sound. Why this one has its own channel, I don't know. Where is it? I think this one actually, I think the other organ is more stereo, and I bounced this one as more of a mono sound for that breakdown section, so it just becomes smaller. That's why I've got two of those, and that's just automated up right before that guitar solo. And then there's a music box in the same spot. So these four instruments, plus the choir, these are playing this breakdown. Cool, so that's like automated up to get you hyped for that next section. And here's that music box sound. Yeah, just the same melody at the start of the song that the harpsichord plays. So speaking of which, I think I'll show you that next. Oh no, sorry, I'll just quickly have a look at the instrument bus. Again, I'm just adding a lot of mid-range to the instruments. I don't think they were really cutting through when I was mixing it. I did have a tape machine on for a bit. That was making too much distortion, and then I've just got a limiter pinning it down. I'm the prince, the type from the fairy tales, but it's a Yeah. Cutting some low end of that out of that. All the stuff you'd expect. So they're all the main instruments. I've got a piano, like a electric piano, off to the side here, and it's got a few extra or additional instruments in the sound bank, and it does have its own harpsichord. So I actually recorded these sounds. Used a 57, just put the 57 near the speaker and recorded these sounds here. Oh, tough. Then I just chop them up at that last bit. Right, it's not like a crazy overbearing sound. You probably wouldn't even notice it. I'll play it here in the intro. But it's all these little 1% moves, these 1% sounds that make the whole picture. And yeah, I just thought it was really cool to have something organically recorded in this song too. So now I'll show you the lead, the harpsichord lead. So that is this sound here. So I kind of envisioned, like if we would go back to the scene of the tavern, you know, the song kicks off, right? You just kind of like imagine someone off to the side playing these leads on the harpsichord. And then I wanted, as the song goes on and the lead is reintroduced, to have it be more ridiculous each time. And to the point where at the end he's basically shredding it. You know, this is meant to sound like kind of like some kind of old guitar. But yeah, I guess there's like really no such thing. So harpsichord is the next best thing. And so yeah, I made these parts. We've got this intro part here. Then the next part after the first chorus. So you get a bit of a hint there of it starting to shred. And then after that breakdown, it builds into this huge, just crazy solo. Yeah, it makes me laugh. So I really like how that turned out. I was struggling with this for a very long time on sort of what to play, but yeah, I didn't know how to shred it. I didn't know what to play. Like usually a lot of times I make my own guitar solos if I'm playing guitar on a song. But this is a step up out of my skill range. So I wasn't sure what to play, and I had all these different ideas, and I asked someone else to play on it, and they never got back to me. And then I don't know, I was just thinking about all these different shredders, and what I ended up doing was downloading the MIDI files for these Metallica songs, and I would take the guitar MIDI and try and match it to the tempo of the song, and then, you know, use that. We might even have, so I've got some of this MIDI here. See if I can play that. This is like, what's this? No, not that. Maybe this. Things like that. What's this? Yeah, so originally had stuff like that in there, and that was from Metallica songs. And the problem is, if the song is not at the tempo of the song of like your target tempo, it's very hard to get the MIDI to fit. Like it's very hard to get it to fit the, not just the tempo, but like the bars. Like we've only got like a 4-bar section, and to like try and condense things of a different tempo into something of another tempo and then into the amount of bars is very difficult. So what I needed was like a really gnarly shredding solo at 96 BPM, which is actually quite slow for a lot of heavy metal stuff. And just luckily, I stumbled across No More Tears by Ozzy. And it's at a very similar tempo. So I was able, what I was originally trying to do was get the MIDI, but then in the end, I was actually able to just like transcribe it using Ultimate Guitar and just playing it in. And so that is this bit here. So that's the solo from No More Tears by Ozzy Osbourne. And this part too. But I did modify this section a bit so it fit the amount of bars I have, and it made sense. And yeah, it's so bizarre. I did all that of a night, and then the next morning I woke up to the news that he had passed. So that was a little bit sobering and confronting, and a huge bummer. So R.I.P. Ozzy. Thanks for your services to music. So badass. So yeah, that fits fucking perfectly on this. This intro MIDI I wrote myself. So let's break down the sound now. So it's again that harpsichord sample using the NXT sampler, and I am layering it with a clav. So a clav is just a bit spikier. It's also just wanted to thicken up that sound. It's more mid-rangey. It's just got a different tone. You can barely hear it, but it just kind of thickens the sound. And I've also got a Rhodes, I think. So yeah, this is going to be one of these sounds that's just all over the place with the plugins. So the EQ, yeah, got a huge boost at 1K, bit of top end. Then, okay, we're not doing anything. There's no inserts. Yeah, they're similar. They're just boosting, Yeah, 1K on all of those. Now on the bus, what are we doing up here? Nothing. There's an envelope shaper. What are we doing? We're adding some attack. So it must not have been cutting through the mix enough. Yeah. So I'm giving it some more transient, so it just really cuts through. Looks like I'm giving it some top end. So this is an example of one of those decisions like where I'm balancing the track and like I do something else and now I need to do something over here and then I need to come back over here and I need to do that. So something's obviously happened and I've needed to come in here and add 6 dB at 12K. For the MIDI stuff, we've got this like little LFO and I'm automating this on to control the pitch of each sampler. See, this is going to be confusing, but the output of this LFO device is going into the oscillator pitch of each of these devices, and then where'd it go? Using this level, that's kind of like a dry, wet knob. I'm automating this on to create vibrato at this. It's like during certain parts of the solo. Where the frick is it? Oh yeah, here. So you can hear it at the end, like a real guitar player would do. Subtle differences, like subtle things, but they add up. Oh yeah. So also, what I'm doing, I've got this. It's called THU Slate. It's a amp sim, and halfway through the solo, like I'm automating it to come on like you're stepping on a distortion pedal. Yeah. And then the solo at the end, it's just got it on for the whole thing. I could open it up and show you, but I'm a little scared of the latency. It's like a pretty intense plug-in for like CPU. But should I open it? Yeah, all right. Might take a second to open up. Yeah, shit. Okay, so that's it. It's just a tube screamer. So literally like you're stepping on a distortion pedal. Just taking it to the next level. Sick. So adding some rotor, adding some chorus, adding the waves doubler. It's the first appearance of the doubler. It's on the Pensado doubler. Okay. Adding a bit of that, like just giving it width. And then we've got it's going to the main plate reverb. Vox smooth plate. That's the first appearance of the reverb. All the vocals are going to that. And that's at different sections. Looks like I'm automating. Yeah, a bit of a reverb throughout the end. Now we've got a parallel channel. Let's see what's going on with this. If we can even find where it's going. Follow the chords. Oh my god. What the fuck? Alright, so... Alright, this is confusing. I'm taking a parallel output of the harpsichord channel. I'm going to a splitter, right? So it goes in here, then it goes over here, and now I've got 4 outputs where I can take 4 instances of that sound and use it elsewhere. So what I'm probably doing is I'm like probably side chaining some of the pads with this sound. And here is the parallel channel. Sorry, I know this is confusing, but looks like I'm using even more. I'm using this device here as an envelope shaper. I'm adding even more attack to the sound, and then adding like some distortion. See if I can solo this. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can get it on its own, but yeah, it's just adding more pluck, adding more distortion. Nice. So that's the harpsy lead, I think. There's no more to say about that. What's this? There's some channels here, but I don't think I ended up using those. Yeah. All right. Now, impact sounds. None of these are very important. These are just effects. So again, going back to the reference tracks, if you listen to those, every time the chorus hits or every time there's a big moment, there's usually one of those like Fairlight orchestra hits that dun, dun. Just go back and have a listen. So it was very important to get those in here. So I've got these orc hits. And then I've got that layered with a string hit. So at the start of each chorus, bop. Okay. These 2 sounds are probably the most important. In the chorus, when they hit, I've got some automation throwing them to a reverb. And then, I've got some automation on the chorus sends. So they play throughout the verse and they play throughout the rest of the song, but just during the chorus, there's some automation to just make them bigger. So you can see the chorus coming, and we've thrown to the reverb. That orchestra sound, that's got a heap of low end, so I just cut that out, I think. Oh, it's just about to play. Oh. Yeah, see, hear that? Couldn't leave any of that in, so I had to chop that out. Probably nothing on the insert. No. String hit. String hit's got some envelope shaper for attack. Yep. Impact bus. Again, probably adding 1K to that. Yep. Adding some from like 666 to 1.2K. Just adding a bit of like mid-range harmonic to those hits. And then a limiter pinning them down. We got some uppers and downers, just like white noise effects probably. What's this? Where even is this? Ah, here. Right before the guitar solo. Impact effects, what's that? That's here. That's at the start of that breakdown. Harp gliss up. Oh, yeah. It's another harp sound effect. Panned off to the left. Reverse. What's this? Oh, it's like a reverse of this orchestra sound, I think. Interesting. Guys, I made this song over many years and I've grown as a producer, and there was probably 8 versions of this that evolved from the first one, and these are probably sounds that come from the very first session. They've been like grandfathered in and stayed in, and I've just left them in. I haven't really thought about them. But if I were making this song now, would I leave that in? Maybe not. I don't know. I would definitely leave this sound in though, because this is super important. And this is a white noise downer. So with the other sounds. Again, you hear that sound in the reference. Those big choruses. Every time. Big cymbal. 'Cause on the night, shining in armor, I'll climb up the So yeah, that's what I was going for there. We've got a sword sound effect. On me. Oh, you can't even really hear it. But there is, it's like the sound of someone like drawing the sword out of the, I can't remember what it's called, the sheath, the holder, sword holder. Oh, I should have had that louder. Again, as it's like a reverse. So it's like a white noise effect. That shh. So yeah, should have actually had that louder. On me. Oh my! I can't even hear it. Bugger. All right, that's all our impact sound effects. Now we got some bass. Let's see what we got. Bass. So the bass has gone on a bit of an odyssey. First, I recorded some live bass. I've got a Fender P bass over here, and I had the stems to Hit Me Baby One More Time, and I'm pretty certain that the bass from that is just it's probably the same thing, a P bass. And so I tried to match the tone and sound of that bass using my own, and played all the bass parts. I could never get the slap quite like the one from the Britney track, so I think I just chopped that out of their bass and added it to my session. So I think that's what it says, chopped Britney. Oh, that's like finger noise. So I've added in finger noise, and this slap I'm pretty sure is from Hit Me Baby One More Time. Yeah, like those things. Okay, so then that was the original bass, right? And then I probably decided, it's not subby enough. It doesn't have enough sub. And so I layered in like a sine wave on top. Oh, sorry, underneath rather. And then it just still wasn't hitting right. So I took the MIDI from my sine wave and was just going through some bass patches and found this. It's P slap bass, a patch again on the NNXT sampler. Play. Yeah. I'll just take this back to how it was. That is so punchy. So that's what I liked about that. I like my bass to be like really consistent, and when you use samples and synthesizers, your bass is obviously like very stable rather than recorded bass. And yeah, the attack of these samples is like quite considerable, so I like that. So after all these different like iterations of the bass, I just ended up with this sampler device with a few of the samplers, and I think that's turned out pretty decently. So let's have a look at the processing. There's really just filters. On those slap sound effects, I'm taking out everything under 100. I've got that high passed at, what's that like, 47. And then I'm automating this. I'm automating the cutoff. So before, it'll be here, yeah, during the pre-chorus. Just like getting rid of some bass before the chorus drops, so it feels extra heavy when it comes back in. Doing that here as well. So you can see that being automated. On the bass bus, I've got Pro Q, like bass tonal control. These plugins are left over from when I had the recorded bass, the P bass, so I just left them on. I didn't even realize I had them on. They just sounded good. Then we've got this Cerberus bass amp. So yeah, it just makes it sound like it's coming through a cab. Yeah, using this graphic EQ, I've got that on, so just rolling off more high. Then there's a fab filter. What's on this? Yeah, so this is the side chain. So this is taking out some 85 from the bass every time the kick hits, and then I'm adding a bit more. I'm adding like 2 dB, a bit higher up. Making space for the kick, making space for the bass. And then here's another side chain, I think. Yeah, it's the kick drum. So the kick drum is like getting out of the way, and then I'm also like taking out the kick drum frequency at the same time. Now we've got some limiting on the bass, so it doesn't get out of, there's no like massive spikes or anything. It's pretty heavy-handed actually. But yeah, so that's the bass. So everything so far, I'll just like give you a blast of the chorus without the drums. And I'll take off the vocals. Cool. So now let's go through the drums. Guys, we're getting through it. So again, it's the same drum pattern as the Britney tracks. I think it is probably exactly the same as Hit Me Baby One More Time with all the hats. And I'll just run you through probably like, the groove. So this for sure is in Baby One More Time. I ripped that from the track. Then these hats here. So you get that little triangle. Triangles were so popular the late 90s, early 2000s, and it's gone. You don't hear the triangle anymore, but we've got a tambo in the chorus. Off to the left, there's a bell tree sample. Should have put that over here like this. But no, it's in the middle and it only plays once. So now we've got a break. I've been pretty heavy-handed with the EQ on this, so I got this from Ill Factor. He's a very good producer in his own right, but I took his production course when I was just starting out, and this is something he would always do in his songs when you're building drums. If you throw in a breakbeat or like one of these old school drum breaks, can kind of help glue everything together, even if it's just at a low level. And so that's the reason I've put this in here, just because they've got, a lot of natural human swing. That's pretty much the same pattern. That's like the kick drum pattern we're looking for. So yeah, filtered and slammed, and then that's just kept low. But like I keep saying, all these like little 1% moves, they all add up. So now we've got some snaps. Crash. Very splashing. A tambo hit. Oh, that's only during these verses. It's not even tambourine, is it? Ah, yeah. Jeez, you can barely even hear that. Probably don't even need that in there. Open Hearts, what's that? Oh. Oh, that's the ch. Again, copied directly from the Britney tracks. So it's a very busy drum pattern. And that's how those songs were designed to be. It was like every single thing would be fun to listen to or engaging to listen to. I've got a big copy of the snare drum just before the chorus, and that's just like throwing to a big reverb. It's the tail of the snare, so it's not like the transient. And then because I think I have the actual snare hitting at the same time. Yeah, I do. Now we've got loop 2 that is playing what? I think I probably had a drum loop originally, and then I've like cut up the loop and then like separated it, all the individual hits out onto its own channel. That's probably what this is. Oh, it's a snare. Okay. Yeah, so these, I'll put in the snare now, but these three drums were from the same drum loop, I think. And that's why they're like that. I probably don't need any of these, but they're there. So the snare. It is audio. It's, like I said, it's from some kind of other break, and I've just placed it in as audio. Now, EQ, bit of 1K, taking out a bit of low mid, 500 or 550. It's quite, let's see what's on it. Oh yeah, I've got some overdrive on it, and then I've got, yeah, I was flirting with this. That added a heap of top end. And that's a super punchy snare, but it's kept quite low in the mix, so it's not like, you know, peaking the master. Kick reverse. Again, this is super important for that late 90s, early 2000s sound. It's meant to sound like a record scratching, which there was a lot of during those years. The scratch was still popular. Yeah, that sound is just a kick drum going forward and back, because that's what it would actually be on the vinyl player. You would find like a kick drum, and then when you're scratching it back and forth, you get that sound. There's one section where I'm automating that up in at the end of the first chorus. Now, the kick drum. Huh, we went through a few kick drums, let me tell you. And so the old kick, right? I don't even know if I'm going to be able to play this. Old kick, what happens with that? Okay, so it plays. So it's kind of flabby. Wasn't really hitting right. Then I got a new kick. That one's pretty good, but I think it was really subby. It was like very clinical and precise. But I needed more punch, and so I ended up with this one. Yeah, so I was just trying to match the reference. That's the one I ended up with. They're still there because they're like when you see the patch cabling at the back. I don't know how it's all connected in, but yeah, I can't delete it. So I haven't got rid of it. So yeah, we got this kick. It's a Oliver sample, I'm pretty sure. It just says like punchy mix ready kick. Yeah, look. Oliver kick punchy mix ready Olympus. Bang, just threw that in. Good to go. But see, here's the thing, right? I've got this. This is confusing. Hang on. What I've got here is a parallel kick channel, and no, that's not it. Fuck. Okay. Oh my God. All right. Yeah. So I got this parallel channel here, right? And it's a 1176, and it's just smashing the kick drum. So I'm sending out a copy of my kick to another channel that's got a compressor on it, and it's slamming the hell out of it. And that just adds a shitload more punch. And that's what the track was needing. So that's... Oh, all right. So yeah, that is constantly on. It's not routed to the drum bus. This just goes straight to the instrument bus. So that's why it's pink. And then I've just hitting the mute button right before the chorus just to like back off the punch. And then when the chorus hits, bang, even more punchy. So the drum bus, I come from the Disclosure School of Drum Processing. Oh, there's a ladder filter. That's, yeah, pre-chorus. Then being filtered back open. We've got some SSL bus compressor. So everyone talks about like your G bus compressor, like the glue compressor, and on an SSL on an SSL desk, it's this compressor here. So that's the master bus compressor. So that's what's so dope about this program. You're looking at an old SSL desk, and yeah, that's where that drum bus or the G bus, the glue bus, that's the one they're talking about. It's right there on the console. But this program, you can add it as an insert effect. So that's what I'm doing here. Very classic moves. Two to one ratio, 30 millisecond attack, letting the transients through. And then I've got the release set to auto. Bit of makeup gain. But I'm turning the input down. Then we've got some tape compression. The idea is to just kind of like knock down the transients with each device, so you don't have these huge spikes. So you you're clipping off the top of the waveform with distortion or compression. So that's what all these devices are subtly doing. Again, we've got a distortion unit now, adding some tube distortion. Then, got some EQ, taking out 4.5. So that's being ducked by the vocal, I'm pretty sure. Those hi-hats were just in the same range as the vocal, where the sibilance is. So I'm like just ducking it when there's vocal. Or it might even be the harpsichord lead, honestly. And then, yeah, there's an EQ there that I'm not using at all. And then a limiter. So that's just there to catch any rogue peaks, and there's none anyway. So that's rare, because usually I'll have like a snare drum that's just going and it's just ruining everything. But yeah, so that's the drums. Yeah, happy with how they turned out, actually. It looks like I've got some automation. Probably for the chorus. Yeah, automating the probably the drum bus and the bass bus down a dB, and then bang, up a dB when it gets to the chorus. You can see that. Yep, -1 dB. Back up when the chorus hits. So another 1% move. Cool, so that might be all the instruments, I think. Yeah, let's go on to the vocals. So,
Cause on the night, shining in armor, I'll climb up the castle.
all right. Verse. Boom.
Sometimes I stumble and sometimes I fall, but no matter what happens, you have to always get back on the horse and give it.
So, recorded these vocals on this microphone. There's nothing really noteworthy. This room that I'm in is it does have a little bit of reverb or like room ambience. So what I try and do now, I think actually what I did was actually just put a blanket over my head and sang this, just because I wanted it really dead. I went through a lot of, what would you say? I guess versions of my vocal. The first ones I sung were probably done with a bit of an American accent, were probably a bit softer. Then I remember I did ones that were a bit like more aggressive. And then once I decided that I was fully going to sing this and it was going to be like my song, I decided I'm going to do ones with more of an Australian accent, more of a modern Australian accent. So this song's been through like, 6-7 versions, and these vocals were recorded for this version. So I just did them all again.
Sometimes I stumble and sometimes I fall.
So, this is the verse. All the lead vocals have the same plugins on them, but let's just have a look and see what they are. So, a Neptune device, that's like the native auto tune that comes with Reason. I'll turn all the plugs off.
Sometimes I stumble and sometimes I fall, but no matter what happens, you have to always get back on the horse.
So pretty good. I do a lot of pitch correction inside the audio waveform. You can do that here in the sequencer, pitch edit. You can adjust the notes. So I've already done that. But then I'm just adding in some more pitch correction because God knows my voice needs it.
Sometimes I stumble and sometimes I fall, but no matter what
Now, we got the 1176.
Sometimes I stumble and sometimes I fall, but no matter what happens,
So pretty heavy-handed. And this is why I said earlier that I've been trying to record in a full dead environment. Because if you record just in this room, how I am now, if I was singing here at this computer, when you go to compress the shit out of your vocal, you will hear the room sounds like brought up. That's, it's not the end of the world, but it's not great. So
sometimes I stumble.
Now I'm using this Infinity EQ by Slate Digital.
Sometimes I stumble and sometimes I fall.
And let's have a look. It's hard to read this thing. It's boosting. Tremendous amount of high ends, but we're also being pretty heavy-handed with some mid and taking out a bit of low mid and then rolling off the super low.
Sometimes I stumble.
So
and sometimes
that 1K mid helps get the vocals forward in your face. So then we're adding some more distortion.
Sometimes I stumble and sometimes I fall, but no matter what happens, you have to always get back on.
That helps control the dynamics as well. And again, I'm adding some like 1 to 5K maybe. God, more EQ.
Sometimes I stumble and sometimes I fall, but no matter what happens, you have
Boosting even more at 12K with the classic, the Pool Tech EQ, the Pool Tech style EQ, the Waves one.
Sometimes I stumble.
And then you add in all that top end, you're going to need the de-esser. So we just got the old Waves. The classic.
Sometimes I stumble and sometimes I fall, but no matter what happens, you have to.
It's pretty heavy-handed. So I've got these 2 verse channels. I've got 2 because there's vocals that overlap here.
On the horse and give it your best.
But they're exactly the same. So then it goes to the pre-chorus, right? That's got the exact same plugins. I'll show you just to confirm it. See? That's here.
So call me if there's any danger. I'll be there to save you. You can always count on me.
The only difference is these were completely dry, and I think probably the volume was down a little bit. We're probably moving up a few dB in volume as the song's going on, and then I've added in some slap delay. So as we're going from verse, we're like ramping up in energy, effects, and then the chorus is like maximum energy. And that's what I'm trying to do. So then we've got the lead. Oh my God, sorry. That's pretty much the same plugins. Yep, it's the exact same. So verse dub, pre, and chorus, they're all going to this bus called leads. There's these other channels in the chorus. They are just copies of the chorus vocal, but panned hard left and right. So.
'Cause on that night Shining in armor, I'll climb up the castle wall to rescue you, baby. I'm the prince they take from the
Right.
cause I'm the knight.
So then on the lead bus, let's have a look at that. We've got some automation. Probably, yeah, it's the level. So we're just taking it up a dB in the chorus. The lead bus has some group compression or some more compression. LA2A.
Cause I'm the knight,
Damn, that's
shining in armor. I'll climb up the
All right, then there's hang on, I'll turn all this off. Oh,
Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls to
I think I'll probably just use this to just like glue these chorus vocals all together.
cause I'm the knight, shining in armor.
Pin the vocal. Then we've got Pro Q3. What's going on here? Just bit at 3K, more of that upper mid range.
Cause I'm the knight.
Now we're adding more 1K in, probably. Yep.
Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you, baby.
That's so important for getting those vocals like right up front, that 1K. It's like human speaking frequency. So that's where our ears have adapted to like listen or be the most sensitive.
Cause I'm the knight.
Then we got some gem dopamine.
Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor.
And that just makes everything nice and shiny.
Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you, baby.
And then we've got another EQ at probably 1K. Yeah. So that is automated to do what? Probably just come on in the chorus, I would say. Yep. You'll see this little bypass button. It's bypassed, and then when the chorus hits,
Cause I'm the knight, shining
1K.
in armor. I'll climb.
So then I've got a parallel channel next to it, and what's that doing?
Cause I'm the knight.
It's just distortion and then smashing it with more compression.
Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you, baby. I'm the prince.
I keep saying it, but all these like little moves, they just keep adding up and adding up. So we've got our lead bus. It sounds pretty good, but I'm just using this parallel channel to add in like super compressed and super distorted parallel channel at low volume, and that just helps keep the energy up, helps keep the lead out front, and helps keep the vocal sounding at a consistent level.
Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls, rescue.
So I've got this second chorus or lead line that plays during the second chorus.
Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls, rescue you, baby. I'm the.
Because I only had one good take of that. I needed it to be like stereo rather than pan it to one side. So it looks like I've got all the same plugins. It's just lower in volume, and I'm smashing it with chorus, smashing it with rotor, so that makes it sound super stereo.
Cause I'm the knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls, rescue you, baby. be.
And then I had this heavy auto-tuned channel here. I don't think I used this.
'Cause I'm that knight, shining in armor.
That sounds terrible because I've got it filtered so heavily and the auto-tune can't pick it up.
'Cause I'm that knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you, baby.
Don't need that in there, so I've taken it out. That's the lead vocals. Then, like these channels here, they're the harmony channels. There's the chorus harmony. They're routed to their own bus called harms. So I'll play the chorus harmonies.
I'm a knight, shining in armor. Climb up the castle wall to rescue you, baby.
So the reference track, the Britney tracks, they've got huge vocal harmonies when the chorus comes in. And I first wrote this years ago when I was a bit less experienced. And I wrote these harmonies below the lead vocal line. The lead melody it's a weird melody to try and harmonize. And so I ended up having to use harmonies that were below the lead, which would be non-typical. You could maybe have one below your lead, but you want harmonies above it. And so this is a challenge because you've got my lead vocal, it's not super high, and now we've got layers of vocals underneath it that could potentially clash with the bass, with the instruments. So you've got to be like very careful about how to add those things into the mix. So
'Cause I'm that knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls.
the other thing too is I'm just keeping them like conservatively panned because it's a super important sound to the chorus, and like I didn't want to have them go full left and right in case for whatever reason, like if the song was played in mono, you'd like lose them. So they're 75 is the furthest I'm panning them. Individually they just have compressors on them all.
'Cause I'm that knight, shining in armor. I'll climb up the castle walls.
I've got some EQ on the group bus, taking out low mid, taking out the rolling off 200, and the bus insert effects,
'Cause I'm that knight,
compression,
I'm that knight, I'm that knight.
yeah, like really getting out of the way, really just sculpting this so there's no mud, and then where the lead would be, I'm taking out some frequencies up here, but adding in some top so you can kind of hear them sparkle, right? Same thing, adding in top, taking out low, bit of distortion, and then the de-esser.
I'm that knight, shining in armor.
What I've done with the harms and what I do with all my songs anyway, you'll see I've just chopped it. There's these big chops, and I just chop out S's in harmony vocals. Any S's or P's or hard consonants or sounds that'll be harsh, I just cut them out of the audio. So
I'm that knight, shining in armor. Climb up the castle wall to rescue you, baby.
there's a few like harsh sounds, but I've cut out the big ones. Same thing probably with this parallel channel, and probably just 1170. Oh no. Oh, right. So like I said, I had them panned conservatively because I didn't want to lose them if the track was collapsed to mono. So what I'm doing instead is using a parallel channel, and I've got the Waves S1 imager and boosting some width that way. So that way it doesn't matter if the song goes into mono, like we'll still hear the core harms, and then this effect that would be lost, but who cares? So that's like a good compromise, actually. Yeah, there are like harmony channels throughout the song. There's nothing like super interesting though, I wouldn't have thought.
Calling all damsels locked in a game. I'll be the one who sweeps you off your feet. 'Cause I'm not calling all damsels locked in a game. I'll be
Some slight like automation moves on some of the vocals. That's it.
calling all damsels locked in a game. Oh.
I think that's my favourite part of the song right there. Calling all damsels. So, damn.
Calling all damsels locked in a game. I'll be the one who sweeps you off your feet. 'Cause I'm that knight shining in armour. I'll climb up the castle.
So that's pretty much everything. All the channels are either routed to all vocals or instruments, and on the all vocals there's a de-esser taken off
Calling all damsels locked in a game.
a few dB of the S's, and then there's a limiter, and that's probably just holding everything in place.
Calling all damsels locked in a game. I'll be the one who sweeps you off your feet. 'Cause I'm that knight shining in armour.
I'm using these limiters to just hold everything in place. So I just don't want any big spikes, because like I'm thinking down the road when you get to mastering, and just don't want any like super gnarly peaks. So that's why I use those. On the instrument, oh wow, oh, I didn't even know I was doing this. I'm adding 2 dB of mid-range.
Calling all damsels. 'Cause I'm that knight shining in armour. I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you, baby. I'm done.
Yeah, okay, must have needed it. And then this is big too. So I've got all my instruments are running to this channel, and then I'm duplicating it, making a parallel channel, and then on the parallel, so listen. So a super hyped, super compressed, parallel signal. And what I'm doing is I'm automating that to come on when the chorus hits. So it's adding all this like extra energy when the chorus drops. See, I'll show you. Here's the chorus.
I'll climb up the castle walls to rescue you.
So yeah, you just got to find little ways to like try and make the chorus hit, make a bit of impact. It's a subtle thing, but like I said, they all add up. That's pretty much the song, guys. I've got, what's this? This is the master inserts. All right. So yeah, during the choruses, when everything does come in, we've got those harmony vocals, and everything's playing. It does get a little bit muddy, so I've automated out 1.5 dB for when the chorus drops. Just to catch any peaks again. I don't think there are. Now, I've got... This is funny because I just explained before there's a G-bus compressor or the master compressor here on the master out. But I'm not actually using that one. I'm using this one by Slate Digital as an insert effect. And the reason is because this one you can add in a high pass filter. There's a little bit of patching, and I reckon it stuffs up like the volume, the levels. Like, I don't know. I just find funny results with the levels when I try and use that one. I don't know how it works. So I'm using this one. Slow attack, auto release, taking off 1 to 2 dB, ratio 2 to 1, and it's not being triggered by anything under 100 hertz. So, like super classic settings for a bus compressor. That's the song. And then you can see, so I've got this Salic gain meter and slider here. Just try not to have anything go past 6 dB. Just trying to have it peak around 6. So that's what that's there for. And guys, that's the song. So yeah, Shining in Armour live at the Tavern. It's out on Spotify and on this very platform, YouTube. So yeah, I hope you saw everything you needed to see if you're a fan of the song. I went on to master this myself. Just import it into another Reason session and then use a bit of soft clipping or the free version of K-Clip, I think, Kazrock Clip or something like that. Just knocking off a dB and then using the Fab Filter Pro L2 to get the volume. Got it peaking at around -9 without like shaving off too much transient. So I was pretty happy with that. That's a pretty loud master for me. So yeah, I'm very happy with how this song turned out. Considering I did everything myself. I wrote the song, I played all the parts, I sang it, then I mixed it, and then I mastered it. I'm particularly proud about how it came out. So yeah, if you've got any more questions or want to know anything else, leave a comment down in the description, and I'll get back to you. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.